We are counting down the 20 classic rifles that have turned from overlooked relics into modern treasures. From entry-level models that surged in price almost overnight to ultra-rare prototypes demanding six figures, each entry reveals how scarcity, craftsmanship, wartime history, and collector mania have rewritten the rules of gun values. Which rifle's rise is the most shocking of all? Let us begin with number 20. Swiss engineering found its cult following in the Schmidt-Rubin K31, a straight-pull bolt-action rifle produced from 1933 to 1958. With about 645,000 made, its reputation for match-grade accuracy drew in a new wave of collectors. The real treasure lies in the troop tag, an original slip tucked under the butt plate that lists the soldier and unit who carried it. Pristine K31 rifles with authentic troop tags and matching serials have surged in value, climbing from surplus prices to between $700 and $1,500 at auction, a 500% jump in just a few years. For many, this rifle is the gateway to serious collecting. In 1899, the Savage Model 99 brought a leap in American sporting rifles, with its clever rotary magazine, allowing hunters to use pointed bullets safely, decades before others caught up. Over nearly a century of production, about 1.3 million were built, but it is the deluxe engraved and takedown models from the 1920s that now spark the fiercest bidding. These special variants, often hand-engraved and fitted with premium wood, have seen their auction prices soar to $1,200 to $2,000, a 200% rise in just a few years. For collectors, the Model 99's blend of mechanical ingenuity and early luxury makes it a standout, bridging American innovation with timeless appeal. Japanese Arisaka rifles from World War II are instantly recognized by the Imperial Chrysanthemum crest, or Mu-M, stamped on their receivers. This insignia, once defaced or ground off on most surrendered rifles, now drives fierce bidding for the few that remain intact. Pristine, unsporterized examples with a clear mum crest can reach up to $2,500, nearly unheard of for mass-produced military arms. But the soaring value has fueled a wave of fraud, with recut or artificially restored crests slipping into the market. Forensic experts now rely on metallurgical analysis and microscopic tool mark inspection to separate genuine imperial markings from modern forgeries. Collectors are warned, without paperwork and expert authentication, even a beautiful mum can be a costly trap. Ruger's #1 single-shot rifle, introduced in 1967, stands apart for its blend of classic design and modern craftsmanship. Built around a robust falling block action, the #1 was offered in a sweeping range of calibers, from .22 Hornet to .458 Lot, appealing to both varmint hunters and big game enthusiasts. What truly drives its value today are the limited runs and special editions, many produced in collaboration with lipsies and marked by unique serial numbers or rare wood. Discontinued variants and high-grade examples now command $1,500 to $2,500, with collectors chasing the best finished, lowest numbered, and most unusual chamberings. The #1 proves that even contemporary rifles, when produced in small batches and with careful attention to detail, can become tomorrow's sought-after classics. Finnish ingenuity transformed the Mosin Nagant M9130 into a collector's prize during the Winter War, with upgrades like the VKT-marked M39 and the addition of precision PU sniper scopes. Fewer than 100,000 PU sniper variants survive, with original scopes, and those with matching Soviet documentation command steep premiums. Finnish M39s, especially those marked by the Valtion Kivaritedas workshop, have seen values quadruple since the early 2000s. They now reach from $1,200 to $2,500 for provenance examples. Collectors hunt for rifles with wartime logbooks or sniper ID tags, as these small details can elevate a basic surplus rifle into the upper tier of the market. Marlin's Model 336, especially those stamped with the discreet JM on the barrel, has become a touchstone for American lever-action nostalgia. Produced before 2007 at the original North Haven, Connecticut factory, these rifles are prized for their smooth side eject action and rugged reliability. Collectors look for the JM stamp as proof of pre-Remington craftsmanship, with clean examples from the 1950s in rare calibers like .32 Special commanding $1,000 to $2,500, a 300% surge in just a few years. The difference comes down to a tiny mark, but for many, it is the dividing line between mass market and heirloom quality. The Styer Mannlicher M1890 stands out as a leap forward in late 19th century rifle design, thanks to its straight pull bolt action and the introduction of the en-bloc clip system. Issued across the Austro-Hungarian Empire, it offered quicker reloading than most of its contemporaries. Around 300,000 were produced, but decades of sporterization and conversions have left original, matching military examples increasingly rare. Collectors now scrutinize every proof stamp and serial number, searching for rifles that escape civilian alteration. As demand for 19th century European innovation grows, unmodified M1890s with matching parts have seen their prices triple since 2010, now reaching $3,000 to $5,000 at auction. The Mauser Carabiner 98K stands as the most recognizable rifle of World War II, with nearly 14 million produced by German arsenals under a maze of secret factory codes like BIF, CE, and BNs. Collectors chase battlefield-correct examples, those with matching serial numbers and original proof marks, sometimes paying up to $5,000, double what they brought a decade ago. Yet the market is flooded with fakes. Fraudsters add bogus SS runes or recut serial numbers, hoping to pass off ordinary rifles as elite Nazi contracts. Experts warn that only rifles with ironclad provenance, correct code year combinations, and undisturbed markings hold true value. Authentication is everything. The Tokarev SVT-40 stands as a symbol of Soviet ambition during World War II, designed to rival the American M1 Garand with its gas-operated, semi-automatic action and 10-round magazine. Despite more than 1.5 million produced, true collector examples are vanishing fast. The market transformed overnight in 2014, when political turmoil froze a shipment of 5,000 SVT-40s in Ukraine, cutting off North American supply and sending prices soaring by up to 40%. Today, matching number rifles with original wartime markings can bring $2,000 to $4,000 at auction. Collectors scrutinize serials and provenance, knowing that even minor mismatches can slash a rifle's value. Winchester's pre-1964 Model 70 stands at the crossroads of American rifle collecting, known for its Mauser-inspired controlled round feed and impeccable machining. Produced from 1936 to 1964, nearly 700,000 were made, but the real divide came with the factory redesign in 1964. Collectors quickly drew a line with pre-1964 examples, with their hand-fitted parts and classic walnut stocks, doubling in value over the last decade, now fetching $1,500 to $3,000 for high-condition examples. Super-grade variants and rare chamberings like 220 Swift have become the grail, often outpacing standard models by thousands. The pre-to-post 1964 cutoff remains a defining moment, with serial blocks and original finishes scrutinized at every auction. The M1 Garand's National Match pedigree turns a military workhorse into a collector's crown jewel. Built for competition by Springfield Armory, National Match Garands are stamped with the coveted NM on the barrel or receiver, proof of hand-fitted parts, expert bedding, and match-grade barrels. Only a small fraction of the 5.4 million Garands ever received this treatment. Auction values for documented National Match rifles have soared to $3,000 to $5,000, a 400% increase since the days when surplus Garands lined CMP racks. Pop culture has only strengthened its pull, with appearances in films and video games fueling a new wave of nostalgia-driven bidding wars. Springfield's M1903 rifle, once a staple of American arsenals from World War I through the 1940s, has become a prime example of surplus scarcity fueling collector demand. With production topping 3 million, most saw hard use or government rework, but it is the arsenal-marked original configuration rifles that now command top dollar. The infamous rod bayonet prototypes, quickly recalled after President Roosevelt's intervention, are nearly mythical finds. Since the civilian marksmanship program exhausted its last stocks, prices for documented matching examples have soared, routinely reaching $2,000 to $6,000 at auction, a 150% rise since the early 2000s. The rare A4 sniper variant, with original scope and paperwork, sits at the top of the heap. Blaser's R93 was launched in 1993. It changed the game for modern hunting rifles with its straight-pull action and an instantly swappable barrel system. Shooters could switch calibers in minutes, a feature that made the R93 a favorite among European guides and tactical marksmen. Early tactical models and exhibition-grade versions, especially those with low serial numbers, have become hot property since production ended in the decade from 2010 to 2019. Auction prices for pristine examples now reach from $4,000 to $6,000, doubling in just a few years. As its successor, the R8, takes center stage, the R93's blend of modular engineering and rarity continues to drive collector demand. Dakota Arms began building the Model 10 in the 1980s, and it set a new standard for American bespoke rifles. Each rifle was crafted for a specific owner, with premium Turkish walnut, hand-fitted falling block actions, and custom engraving as the norm, rather than the exception. Fewer than 5,000 were ever produced, and every Model 10 left the factory as an heirloom, often accompanied by paperwork, custom cases, and a serial block that could be traced back to its original order. The story took a sharp turn in 2019 when Dakota Arms declared bankruptcy. The factory liquidation flooded the market with unfinished Model 10 receivers, blank canvases that in the wrong hands could be built up and passed off as original rifles. Auction houses now face a provenance crisis. Authentic, fully documented Dakota Model 10s, those with matching serials and original paperwork, regularly bring $4,000 to $6,000, a 150% jump since 2020. Meanwhile, so-called gray market builds assembled from leftover receivers and lacking factory-proof sell for a fraction of that price. Consignment specialists at Rock Island and Morphy's warn that only rifles documented before the liquidation hold serious value. For collectors, the stakes are clear. Without ironclad provenance, even the finest Model 10 cannot escape the shadow of uncertainty. The Dakota saga has set a new bar for authentication, and every serious buyer now demands a paper trail as refined as the rifle itself. The Lee Enfield No. 4, Mark 1T, and No. 1 Mark III sniper rifles owe their skyrocketing value to a single detail: matching numbers across rifle, scope, and mount, all documented in original wartime ledgers. During World War II, only about 25,000 Lee Enfield rifles were converted for sniper use, each paired with a No. 32 telescopic sight engraved with the rifle's serial. Surviving examples with unbroken chains of authenticity, scope, wood, and paperwork intact now command $3,000 to $7,000 at auction, a threefold increase over the last decade. Battle provenance, like a D-Day unit diary or Arnhem field notes, can spark bidding wars as collectors chase the rarest links between rifle and history. Sharps rifles from the Civil War era carry more than just mechanical history. They are artifacts stamped with the marks of military inspectors and the names of regiments that carried them into battle. Around 150,000 Sharps, Model 1859 and 1863 rifles were produced, but it is the documented examples, bearing inspector cartouches or unit markings, that now drive collectors into bidding wars. Provenance Sharps, especially those linked to famous cavalry or sharpshooter units, have doubled in value over the past decade, with auction highs ranging from $3,000 to $12,000. Restoration risks are real. Rifles stripped of original markings or overcleaned can lose much of their frontier and battlefield lore, and their market appeal. Heym's Express Magnum double rifle stands at the intersection of luxury and big game tradition. Built in Germany, with production capped at fewer than 500 per year, each rifle is a bespoke creation, often ordered with deep engraving, exhibition-grade walnut, and chambered for legendary calibers like .375H and H, or .4 and 16 Rigby. The recent surge in African safari travel has drawn affluent buyers back to the double rifle, fueling demand for custom engraved models. Auction prices have soared, with the most ornate examples commanding $10,000 to $15,000, a 200% rise since 2015. For many, the Express Magnum is not just a tool for the field, it is a functional work of art, as likely to hang in a collector's gallery as to accompany a hunter on the plains. In the world of collectible rifles, few names inspire more awe than the Type 1 high rifle, a Japanese experimental prototype with a reputation that borders on myth. Developed in the 1930s for Imperial Army trials, this semi-automatic used a gas-delayed blowback system and was chambered for the 6.5 by 50mm Arisaka cartridge. Fewer than 200 were ever produced, and most vanished in the chaos of World War II. Survivors are so rare that even incomplete examples are fiercely contested. Complete, all-original rifles are almost never seen outside museum collections or the highest echelons of private holdings. The drama surrounding these rifles reached new heights at Rock Island's May 2024 auction. As the gavel hovered, a documented prototype drew fierce bids from collectors in Japan, the United States, and Europe, finally selling for $31,200, more than double its value just 5 years earlier. Auction specialists described the tension in the room as palpable, with even seasoned collectors holding their breath. One Japanese historian called it the holy grail of pre-war military development. Japan's post-war export bans and strict cultural property laws add another layer of scarcity. Legal hurdles mean that any Type 1 found outside Japan likely traveled a clandestine route, further fueling its mystique. For collectors, the Type 1 is more than a rifle. It is a ghost from an era of secrecy and ambition, and every documented survivor is a prize beyond price. Winchester's Model 1873 is the classic lever action that fueled cowboy legend, but the real gold lies in its deluxe and engraved variants. Out of more than 720,000 produced, only a fraction left the factory with hand-cut scrollwork, special order wood, or custom inlays, features that now push auction prices from $2,500 into six-figure territory. Forensic experts warn that with values so high, faked engravings and recut serials are rampant. Original first-year markers, like early receiver metallurgy and period-correct engraving patterns, are scrutinized under magnification to weed out counterfeits. Authentic deluxe model 1873 rifles with factory letters and unbroken provenance continue to set records, while collectors face a minefield of red flags. Only 54 rifles ever left the Winchester factory stamped as one of 1,000, a label reserved for the most accurate barrels, hand-selected and finished for the 1876 centennial. These rifles were not just assembled. Each one was a showcase of frontier craftsmanship, with every serial number carefully recorded and every detail scrutinized by factory inspectors. For decades, most vanished into family lore or private collections, their true value hidden beneath dust and stories. In early 2023, the discovery of a forgotten 1 of 1,000 in a Nebraska barn sent shockwaves through the collecting world. The rifle, untouched for generations, still bore its matching serials and original finish. Family paperwork traced its journey from an 1870s homestead to the present, linking every owner in an unbroken chain. When the hammer fell at Morphus, the final bid reached $275,000, a new record for the model, and a life-changing sum for the descendant who uncovered it. Auctioneers describe the room as electric, with seasoned collectors openly emotional at the sight of such a storied artifact. The value of these rifles is more than just numbers. It is the synergy of absolute rarity and ironclad provenance, a combination that outpaces even the most ornate engravings or deluxe finishes. For collectors, the 1 of 1,000 stands alone at the summit, a rifle where history, family legacy, and financial reward come together in a single unforgettable story. Across all 20 rifles, one truth emerges. Time and scarcity transform utility into treasure. Craftsmanship, provenance, and shifting collector demand now turn yesterday's surplus into six-figure icons. This isn't nostalgia. It's a living market where history drives real value. Every rifle here proves that what we overlook today could become tomorrow's most prized gold. Which one shocked you most? Let us know in the comments below.